The Seattle Seahawks can make the playoffs. Now, it's a long shot. 2.5% chance, I believe, but it is a shot nonetheless. And today, Detective Filoki is on the case to look at every single thing that could happen that could possibly help, hinder, or mean nothing to the Seattle Seahawks when it comes to making the playoffs. And the way we're going to be doing that today is by this funky, fancy website from the New York Times that does a bunch of simulations to show how the Seattle Seahawks can possibly make the playoffs, how every single thing going on for the rest of the season could impact them. Enough talking, let's get right into it. Now, as you can see here on the screen, we've got a cool bar going from blue to green. What a fantastic color scheme. And as you see on the left, blue means the outcome is better for the Seattle Seahawks. Green means the outcome is worse for the Seahawks. And when it comes to gray or less light colors, it's more who really cares. So, first things first, we're going to go into just the Seahawks games. So first things first, we're going to want the Seattle Seahawks to win out, because if the Seahawks win out, we already have around a 59-60% chance to make the playoffs, and that's pretty good. However, is there something that can be done to aid that? Now, of course, the Seahawks have to win out. That would give us somehow a winning record after a horrible start, but this is assuming that everything else goes, pretty according to plan for the Seahawks. Now, week 14, as you can see, we've got some cool games here that could possibly affect the outcome for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, of course, we're going to have to wish the worst upon the rest of the NFC West. So we're probably going to be rooting against the 49ers and the Rams. The Cardinals, I don't think it matters because they're so far ahead of us. But also, we're going to be rooting against teams that are kind of in that mediocre spot in the NFC as a whole, like the Vikings, who just lost to the Lions. We're going to be ideally seeing the Steelers beat the Vikings, who lost to the Lions, my bad. And then we're going to want to see the Saints lose, because they are another team in the NFC that is, kind of on that brink of being a good enough team. Will they lose to the Jets? Probably not. I'm going to say the Saints win. I'm going to be realistic here. Now, the Bengals have been playing fantastic. The 49ers are injured. Could the Bengals beat the 49ers? I honestly believe so. Could the Cowboys beat the football team? Now, okay, let me just say right here, the NFC East, I root against every single team in the NFC East, no matter what, because I don't like any of the teams in there. But I would root for the Dallas Cowboys if it would help us. So possibly the Cowboys can win that game, and I think that that's probably the case. Rams-Cardinals, I'm not going to say anything's going to happen, because by God, we know that that can be a real doozy, these NFC West games. But moving on to Week 15, here we've got some pretty interesting things here. Most of the games really don't mean anything to us whatsoever. Panthers-Bills, I think Bills are going to win that game. Who really cares, though? Let's just not touch it. Here at the bottom, we have Saints, Buccaneers. To be completely honest, the Saints, they lost Jameis Winston. Taysom Hill took $40 million. I don't think they're going too far this year. And the Buccaneers, they have Tom Brady. They have so many good wide receivers. They have such a good defense. I mean, the Buccaneers are winning that game. The Bears versus the Vikings, that one's a real shot in the dark. It really depends on how Andy Dalton decides he wants to play, because apparently Justin Fields is just not doing it anymore for them. So I don't know what's going on there. I haven't really paid much attention, but we'll just leave it as it is. See what, maybe we'll just go, hey, Vikings win. Worst thing happens to us. So now moving on to Week 16, the Seattle Seahawks have a couple of teams to root for here. The Dolphins over the Saints. This one, the Dolphins, they either play absolutely fantastic or absolutely horribly. But let's first start off by saying the Titans beat the 49ers, because will they? Maybe. All right. And if that happens, we've got a pretty good shot to make it into the wild card, because we're kind of eliminating the 49ers from doing anything against us. So moving on from that, Giants, Eagles. I have no idea who could possibly win this game. Both teams are equally kind of mediocre. But now moving down to the Washington football team, Cowboys, once again, I honestly believe the Cowboys win that game. The Cowboys are looking pretty gosh darn good this year. Saints, Dolphins, I'm not going to rule out the Dolphins, because we've seen the Dolphins have some pretty major upsets. They've had some very, very good games. They absolutely dominated the Ravens. We don't know what can happen with the Dolphins, but let's play it safe. Say the Saints win this game. Just, kind of at least going a little bit against the Seattle Seahawks here. Week 17, what would be the last week if the NFL wasn't all wackadoo this year. We see the Panthers versus the Saints. Honestly, I have no idea what could come out of that. The Panthers, they're another team where they're very hit or miss. They either look fantastic or they look horrible. Now, without Christian McCaffrey, who knows what's going to be the deal there. I have a lot riding on them when it comes to fantasy, and, we're probably going to have a lot riding on them when it comes to the Seahawks making the playoffs. But let's just skip that one. Let the cards fall as they may. Rams, Ravens, close game. I think that game will be interesting. Packers, Vikings. I think the Packers take that one. And now we continue to move down the list. I don't want to just say that everything good is going to happen for the Seahawks every single week, because I want to try to go with some stuff that's more realistic. Now, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Week 18, probably the most important week out of all of them. First things first, I'm going to say that the Saints-Falcons game, I honestly believe the Falcons will lose. I don't think the Falcons are going to be that good. At this point in the season, I assume the Falcons are going to be absolutely atrocious. They're going to be looking to get a better pick. They're just going to take the L. Maybe they win. Maybe the Saints are just absolute buffoons. I don't know. But the Falcons, they don't look very good. So I don't really believe in them too much. Now, moving on down, we got the Cowboys versus the Eagles. I believe the Cowboys win that one. Then also moving on down, we've got the 49ers versus the Rams. Now, of course, the NFC West games are a doozy. I don't know what can happen with them, but let's just keep moving around them first. We got Buccaneers, Panthers. I think the Buccaneers win that game, almost guaranteed. And then we've got Giants football team. Now, the Giants would give us a 92% chance to make the playoffs here, but I'm just going to say, in all honesty, that's another toss-up. I don't know what happens there, 49ers, Rams, and Giants football team. I don't know what happens there. Let's continue to go back through and see anything that could possibly give us that 100% chance to make the playoffs. Like, what do we need to make the playoffs? Now, first things first, if the Seahawks lose to the Cardinals or something, we immediately see a major downtick in us making the playoffs. So we have to win out. If the Seahawks lose a game, say goodbye to the playoffs. I can almost guarantee you that. But how can we make it 100%? Now, we've taken some of the worst possibilities for the Seattle Seahawks so far. Maybe if we would have taken the perfect possibilities for them, we would see a bit different here. Rams, Vikings. I cannot bring myself to saying the Vikings will beat the Rams, especially after they lost to those gosh darn Lions. But let's say the Giants beat the Eagles. 95% chance. Giants, Bears, who knows? Say possibly the Eagles beat the Washington football team right here. That would take us to 98%. Now, let's not get too ahead of ourselves right here. What else could possibly happen? Because I think the Eagles can beat the Washington football team. Can the Bears beat the Giants? Probably not. Can the Panthers beat the Saints? Probably not. Can the Cowboys beat the Giants? By God, yes, they can. And there we go. 100% chance to make this playoffs for the Seattle Seahawks. If everything goes well, we have exactly what we need to pray for. Of course, we got to pray the Seattle Seahawks win out. Can Russell Wilson play like an absolute god and win out? And, can we beat the Cardinals? Can we beat the Rams? Texans, Bears, Lions. I have full faith we beat those teams if we don't play like absolute idiots. Rams, Cardinals, can't really guarantee either of those, but we're going to have to win them if we want to make the playoffs. But we've got the people we got to root for. We got to root for the Steelers this week against the Vikings. We got to root for the Saints over the Jets, almost guaranteed to win there. The Jets are kind of bad. Cowboys, I guess we got to root for the Cowboys over the next coming weeks. Sadly, it's not fun, but we got to be Cowboys fans here, boys. And then we would also need the Bengals to beat the 49ers. Then, the Buccaneers, we got to hope that they beat the Saints, which probably will happen. I believe in that to happen. Week 16. We got to root for the Titans without Derrick Henry, without whoever their second running back is that I believe also got injured. We're going to have to root for the Titans, who we took Adrian Peterson from. We're going to have to root for the Giants over the Eagles. Sorry, Jalen Hurts or Gardner Minshew, whoever's playing for that team. Sorry, but got to go with, who is it, Mike Glennon for the Giants? Oh, God. But then, of course, we got to continue to be Cowboys fans. Got to root for the Saints over the Dolphins, Maybe, actually, I think I don't think that game doesn't matter. That game doesn't matter. We don't care about the Saints. We don't care about the Saints after week 14. Week 17, we got to go for the Eagles over the Washington football team. I believe that can happen. Week 17 as well, we got to go for the Packers over the Vikings. I think that's going to happen. Okay. Now, do these games matter? Okay, we don't care about the Saints in week 18 either. Let's go. We can be Cowboys fans against the Eagles, of course, in Week 18. Buccaneers fans. So basically, we've got to root for the Buccaneers and the Cowboys. You know, it's unfortunate, but we've got to root for those guys. We also have to pray on the downfall of the 49ers. The 49ers are taking the real bad end of the stick here, but we got to become Cowboys fans. We got to root against the 49ers, and we got to become Buccaneers fans. I believe in us. The real question is, can the Seattle Seahawks win out? I don't know. But honestly, I believe if the Seattle Seahawks somehow make this happen, where we win out for the rest of the year and we make it to the wild card, this might be one of the better playoff situations we would possibly have. We would have so much momentum riding into whatever playoff game we would possibly get into that I honestly think we could maybe go far this year in the playoffs if and only if we do this. Because if we don't do this, if we lose a single game, we're probably not going to make the playoffs. Okay, we can actually lose to the Cardinals, but we would need probably a ton to happen. Exactly. We need so many things to go right for us if we lose a single one of these games. If we win out, we can have a little bit more, room to play with other teams doing things. But we'll just have to see what happens. I think this was a very interesting thought experiment. It was fun for me to do. Hopefully I can edit this so it's not just super long and all over the place. But boy, oh boy, there's a chance. There is a chance for the Seattle Seahawks to make the playoffs. It'll take a lot. We're going to have to root for the Cowboys for multiple weeks. But we can do it. We can do it, boys. We have to root for the Seahawks. They got to win out. We got to root for the Cowboys. And if they do well, we can make the playoffs. But that's all relying on the backs of Russell Wilson, Pete Carroll, and all the other weird, wacky things this team does. And we got to hope Gerald Everett doesn't account for 3 turnovers every single game, because I don't think we're going to win many games looking like that. We got to hope that we can dominate the NFC West for the rest of the year, because honestly, the rest of the teams that we're playing, Lions, Bears, and the Texans, we can win those games. I don't know about the Rams and the Cardinals. If we lose one of those games, we need a lot of things to go right. However, we can win out. And if we do, boy, will it be a story. But let me not get too ahead of myself. This does give me some hope, but we'll just have to see what happens. If we lose to the Texans, maybe me and my bath are going to have to take a toaster. I mean, I said that completely wrong, but you get what I mean. Me and my toaster are going to need to take a bath if we lose to the Texans. I can't believe I said that bad. I'm done talking. It's currently 3 in the morning. So I hope all of you have a great day. I hope all of you enjoyed this little fun experiment. And now maybe, sadly, we have hope. And that's not very good to have when you're watching the Seattle Seahawks play football on Sundays. We'll see what happens. But with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Let me know down below in the comments what your thoughts are on all this. Do you think that all of these things can go right for the Seattle Seahawks? Do you think the Seattle Seahawks can win out? What are your thoughts on this epic, interesting little playoff scenario for the Seattle Seahawks? I'll put the link to this website down below in the comments or the description, one or the other. And if I completely forget, I'm sorry. But let me know down below what you think. Like I said, leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. And with that, I'd like to thank you for watching. Have a great day.